Welcome to the Tech for Good Southwest podcast, brought to you by Ariel, Alicia, and me, Annie. Here at Tech for Good Southwest, we're on a mission to build momentum for the Tech for Good movement here in Bristol, Bath, and across the Southwest. We're going to be joined by charities, investors, startups, and initiatives to share their stories, challenges, and Tech for Good successes. Through these first 3 episodes, we are introducing each of our podcast hosts so that our listeners can find out more about us. For our second episode, I'm interviewing the energetic changemaker and Tech for Good recruiter, Alicia Teagle.
Hello and welcome to Tech for Good Southwest podcast. It's winter, it's -6, and today welcoming Alicia Teagle to the studio. Hello, Alicia.
Morning, Annie. How are you?
Yeah, a bit cold, but I'm wrapped up warm, got my thermals on. How about you?
I'm just cold in general. My bones have been cold for a good week.
Okay, well, let's have. Well, I'm looking forward to our conversation today, and I reckon that will warm us up because it's going to be exciting to hear what you've been up to as well. Thank you for your time today. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and a little bit about you, a little bit of background?
Of course, there's quite a few things, so I'll try and keep it short, sweet, and snappy. So, I'm Alicia, I'm the co founder of SR2, Socially Responsible Recruitment. I'm also the founder of Technology Volunteers, Bristol Code Bar, and Women Rock. I'm also an investor and advisor to 2 Tech for Good companies, one based out of London, one based out of Bristol. In short, I am a tech recruiter and I've been doing technology recruitment predominantly in the Southwest for almost 10 years for my sins, and that's short and sweet who I am. In terms of the business, SR2, as I said, stands for Socially Responsible Recruitment. We are the first ever B Corp tech recruitment company in the UK with a score of 100.8. We set up the business to be a pure community-driven recruitment brand. We've donated 5% of our profits every 6 months to underfunded charities, again predominantly in the Southwest, but soon to be spreading that wider across the UK. So we've donated just over £250,000 since starting 5 years ago. We also really invest into the tech community as well. So we run and host a ton of different meetups again across the UK, and we're really making a name for ourselves in the market of being the good guys and girls within the recruitment industry and completely shaking it up with a lot of companies now following suit to also give back. So a full winning circle. But that's me in short, and I'm sure we'll go into maybe the other bits and bobs I do outside of the day-to-day a bit later.
It can't be any more that you do outside of the day-to-day, Alicia. That is so much, and so much of very inspiring things there as well, and really great to hear about SR2 and how much that you're supporting the charity sector as well and the communities around the areas in which you work, which is really exciting. I'd be really interested of all of the things that you're doing at the moment, whether it's SR2 or Code Bar or the other initiatives. Just tell us a little bit about your experience of Tech for Good and what it means to you, obviously, but also to your organisation in particular, to SR2.
Sure. So I think Tech for Good means to me, and again, it's I think it's really boomed over the past few years, probably in the last 5. And as a company, we just recruit for companies with a Tech for Good stance, so that they're impact, mission driven, and they're focused, whether that be on health tech, whether that's on environmental, social, governance challenges, sustainability. But I think in terms of what it means, it's about having a positive impact on lives, people, communities, initiatives to try and improve all of that, and then also the planet, which is something that I'm really personally passionate about. And that's, as I said, ingrained completely throughout SR2, and the reason why we wanted to be a B Corp as well as an organisation, to really sort of put that stamp on that we're a force for good. In terms of Code Bar, to give you a whistle-stop tour of that, it's a global charity now running 37 different cities all around the world. It's a free program workshop to help underrepresented people get into technology. Women Rock is a platform that I started 4 years ago now, and it's a blog. It's a place, an amazing place as well at that, for underrepresented folk to share their stories in the hope that it encourages someone else to follow their dreams, but also what the amazing companies that we've got in the Southwest and further afield are doing to help promote and encourage ED&I within their companies, so that company X that is smashing it, company Y that is maybe just going on their ED&I journey can take some nuggets of information from the company that's doing really well and hopefully implement it. But more than anything, it's a place to get people speaking, because ED&I is such an important topic, and I think it will be for years and years to come in terms of closing the gender pay gap. Look at COVID and how much it's affected women over men, for example, and allowing people to really have a voice that when most people don't. So, but then also technology volunteers, and I don't want to go and not talk about technology volunteers because it's such an amazing platform. So Technology Volunteers is a platform to connect tech people with charities and underfunded charities that to help with tech projects. Is completely pro bono. It's a volunteering platform, hence the name. We're relaunching it at the moment with a launch date of 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day, the day of love. So we thought, let's get it launched on that date. Yeah, it's amazing. We've got just over 1,000 volunteers on the platform. We've supported 35 different charity projects. And this year is all about spreading it further afield across the UK.
So Alicia, you're obviously very passionate about the B Corp community and interested in its link, obviously, to Tech for Good. But we might have a lot of people that have never heard of B Corp. Can you give us a little bit of an explanation about what it is, and then also how you see that relates to the sort of technology sector, I guess?
Yeah, of course. So B Corp it's basically like a stamp of approval to mean that you're a force for good, and this is just within the private sector. So it's a non-for-profit network and helping to benefit all people, communities, and the planet. It was last week or the week before, there was 1,000 B Corps now in the UK. I mean, B Corp is global, but 1,000 B Corps within the UK. And there's about 6,000 companies worldwide. The companies like Lush, Innocent Drinks, Patagonia, SR2, obviously. But yeah, it's an amazing network to say that you're a force for good, and always improving on that score. So our score is 100.8, which is considered outstanding, but it allows you to go up to 200, which then you can improve on your B Corp score to go further. And it's a pretty grueling process to go through, but yeah, really proud, and we want to improve on that score over the next couple of years.
Can you give me a couple of examples? So if I'm a technology business, maybe just a small technology business, and I want to go through my B Corp, can you just give us a couple of examples of what I'm going to have to think about and perhaps rework within my organisation?
So I'm definitely not the expert. Caitlin's our expert on B Corp, but a couple of things I do know. So your diversity and inclusion, so that's you as a business. Your supply chain, from paper, the paper supply that you use for your printer, from where you get your coffee, everything is gone through with a fine tooth comb. The breakdown of areas, I'm not too sure off the top of my head, but it's sort of, social, environmental, diversity, and you've got to get a certain score in all the different areas to pass the certification and then get your score. Give yourself a year or two to get it, because it does take a little while.
Yeah, and it feels like there shouldn't be any other way of thinking about business now, given our current context. And what I do know is that there's an enormous backlog of people applying to become a B Corp. So definitely get on that journey for anyone listening outside. And you also mentioned, and you told us a little bit about your commitment to EDI, particularly yourself as Alicia, but also within your business. And definitely from the lens of recruitment. Could you just explain a little bit about what EDI stands for, but also ultimately what that context is?
Yeah, so ED&I, it stands for Equality, Diversity and Inclusion. I've been in tech recruitment for 10 years, and I started my first recruitment company. I was the only lady, and I was the only lady for 9 months, so in a very male-dominated industry. I set up SR2 with 2 men, so again, the only female. But one thing that I really wanted to do was create a business that is completely diverse, and not just gender. I mean, our gender is 50-50 in terms of a business, which for a tech recruitment company is insane, but also encourage different backgrounds, religions, beliefs, sexual orientation. We've got everything within the business and allow people to be different, and that's created like such a fantastic culture within our organization. I think more companies need to do that. specifically within tech, it is, let's be honest, is very white, British, middle class, male. It's very easy for a company to put out a role for a software engineer. The majority of the applications, probably about 99%, are going to be those white, British, middle class men, because there's more of them in tech. That is it. That's how it is. But also there's so many reasons that women don't apply for job ads. They think the salary's too high for their experience, etc. People with neurodiversity, they're put off by some of the terminology, for example. So, yeah, I think another really important topic is the next generation and the girls that are coming into their final year studies, or even before they're choosing their choices in terms of what they're going to take at GCSE and then at A level and beyond that, and empowering them that technology is an amazing industry to go into. There's so many different opportunities within technology, be it designing, be it games development, be it a project manager. There's so many different areas, and it's allowing that next generation to be aware of the opportunities that are within technology, because we need diversity within tech companies, because we all use tech every single day, and it needs to be accessible to the customers. As a woman, you can tell when a platform has got a woman in mind, and that's because more than likely they've got a diverse team. But there's so many more things to discuss when it comes to ED&I, and I'll be on here for the next hour.
Thank you for that. And I think it's just such a great example of the context of Tech for Good being, being everything from also skills, diversity, inclusion. It's such a broad topic, and there's so much to explore. But also, we know that there's some great innovations happening within our Bristol community as well around some of this space. So we will be sharing some of those over the forthcoming weeks. I just wanted to go back to something you said around SR2, working with sort of Tech for Good companies. How do you kind of make sense of that as an organization when you've got a new client ringing up, new company saying, yeah, I've got to recruit, need your support? How do you then kind of match that with your understanding of what Tech for Good is, like what it means in terms of whether they are for good and in what respect? You talked about EDI as well, so I'm just wondering what those kind of lenses are that you put on a business.
I think it's in terms of like their outputs and what they actually do as an organization, their product, for example. So we've been approached by a couple of companies, one of them being, I won't say the name, but a big gambling company, for example, who approached us and wanted to leverage our brand to attract talent within their teams. That would have been an absolutely ginormous client for us as a business, but gambling doesn't fit within our ethos and our values as an organization and as us as founders. So it is companies who share similar values. We work a lot with B Corp companies, but it's companies that are doing some sort of good within the world. And said that could be my really good friends at Tomelo, that are a sustainable fintech company allowing people to use their investments to create real positive change, or it could be LV, the female femtech company that is helping women, whether it be breast pumps or all their other amazing products that they use. So it's a company that has an impact and a mission, doing some sort of good that we work with.
Do you have, is there a sort of set of criteria that you share within SR2 that's kind of reference point for recruiters?
We don't, but as from day one, the people that join us, they know we don't work with companies that fall within alcohol, defence, gambling and tobacco businesses. Also ones that don't respect us as an organisation. Like a lot of clients, like they want to work with us and we want to work with them, but we are very particular. But said we kind of set the rule as they've got to have a positive impact on the world. And that could even be from even fintech or financial services isn't known as potentially something that's ethical or mission driven, but there are a lot of companies that are helping refugees open bank accounts, for example. That is for good. But yeah, we're really focused on those good companies.
I think this is one of the challenges, isn't it, with the term Tech for Good? It's like the term technology, it's so broad, it means everything from sort of tangible objects to processes to, as you said, it's actually about ways of working as well. So I think that's the important thing, isn't it, that we want to share through these stories as well, is kind of the breadth of Tech for Good. It's just thinking about technology in a different way and how it can have an impact. So coming on to Tech Volunteers, I'm so excited about this because I've been a bit on the journey with it as well through Tech for Good. So you're ready to launch in February. You've obviously got volunteers on the platform as well as charities. Can you tell us a little bit about, well, firstly, your vision for the platform, and then thinking specifically around sort of Bristol, I guess, which is where you're based, and where this will be founded, I suppose, what you think the impact might be on the community for us here in Bristol?
Yeah, of course. So we launched Technology Volunteers, and the backstory is we give 5% of our profits to charity. And when we met our first charity, and it was Feed the Homeless in Bristol, we got onto a topic of just technology in general, and they said to us, do you by any chance have any web developers? And my answer was like, yes, of course, is what I do day in, day out. And the caveat to that was, well, we have no money to pay you or pay the person doing this, and we're really looking for a volunteer. So I just popped it on my social channels, and the response was absolutely bonkers. The amount of people within tech who were developers who wanted to give their time to make a couple of changes and improve their website. And then my brain, as it does, come up with a different idea every week. So we created Technology Volunteers. It was all run off email, off Twitter and off Meetup. That wasn't sustainable, and we wanted to create an actual platform. And we did that. We did it very basic, first of all, and we gained a huge amount of traction. As I said, 1,000 volunteers very quickly, 35 projects being completed, but it wasn't scalable the way that the platform was. So our very good friends at And Digital and Gareth, who I'm sure we're going to be speaking to through their Canopy platform within And, they have rebuilt the whole platform to make it scalable, make it sustainable, and be just a little bit more professional, and hopefully register as a charity next year ourselves. And I think, yeah, the plans for it is then to create a mobile app, have a mobile app, and again, spread it across not only the UK, but globally. The plan is to take it over into the US. But our bread and butter is Bristol. Bread and butter is the Southwest. There's some amazing charities here that we have supported, but there's so many more that we need to do, and this will always be its home, and where our main focus is on the Southwest.
What would you, if you could wave your magic wand of Tech Volunteers for Bristol, what would you love to see as the impact that Tech Volunteers has had perhaps in a year from now?
I think closing the digital skills gap within charities is sort of a main thing, and allowing giving charities, if you think about technology, not everyone's technical. I'm not hugely technical myself, but allowing them, giving people enough sort of basic information so they feel a little bit more confident with their technology challenges that they've got. Because when it comes to charities, their time is so much more and better needed on their end goal, whether that's helping disabled children, whether it's people that are living with cancer, and those technical challenges can just make their lives a lot easier. So I think it's closing the digital skills gap, making charities' lives just a lot more simpler and automated, you name it. But then also thinking of the volunteers, like we've got so many awesome volunteers that are potentially upskilling into tech, are career changing, are just coming into the industry and just want to have that extra bit of background on their CV, on their application. So saying a junior UX designer, for example, that this is their project and they've actually got something that's tangible that they can show to a future employer. So it's sort of from both ends, and being able to support people in their career journey as well. As companies, just to add as well, companies with CSR on their agenda who allow volunteering days, a company taking a whole project on for a couple of days a year to help charities would be really powerful as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be huge engagement for that. Is there anything that you think that Tech Volunteers needs from the community? Because obviously, ultimately, it's the impact it's going to have. But I guess you're probably always looking for volunteers to support the platform itself as well.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, the mobile app, like And Digital, are volunteering and building it completely for free for us. So it will definitely be sort of volunteers to potentially improve the platform, and then build out the mobile app is something that we want to do. Yeah, just spreading the word across the charity sector as well. Like it could be from anything from a charity of 2 people to a charity of potentially 100 people. That it's really again, every charity is a great charity, but we're not focused on the likes of Macmillan, for example, who have got a lot of funding behind them and who can pay to employ full-time engineers. It's the charities that are really small, underfunded, underrepresented, and really need our help that the focus point is going to be on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I'm really excited about the platform. I just wanted to kind of finish off a little bit with a sort of question around again around sort of Bristol Bath, the area that we're in, and your sort of deep knowledge and understanding of technology skills and how the sort of sector is going. I guess what your sort of hopes and dreams are for Tech for Good, I guess, in this sort of region. Obviously, things like tech volunteers are really going to enable building the digital skills within the charity sector as well. But I guess, what are your hopes for, like, is it more Tech for Good businesses, some amazing investment in Tech for Good? What would you love to see over the next year or two?
100%. And I think if any city, and I'm going to be biased to Bristol because I'm born and bred and a very proud Bristolian, if you can or can't tell on this podcast. I don't think I've been too farmer actually. I think Bristol is such a diverse, unbelievable community. We've got a real, like, our tech ecosystem is unbelievable, but it's also small. People really come together within the Southwest, and I think it's completely different to what is London, for example, where it's so big and there's so many companies, there's so many people. We can really come together to create a change specifically within the Southwest. And again, I would love to know the stat of Tech for Good businesses in the Southwest compared to London. Would love to know that stat. I think I would love in the next 2 years to see more B Corps within the Southwest. I know it's a pretty hard journey to go on, but I think we could really push to get our Tech for Good businesses to potentially become a B Corp. And then investment, like next year, my focus is going to be, I really want to speak to investors. I really want to create a kind of investor circle of investors, whether that's angels, VCs, individuals, you name it, who really want to invest into Tech for Good, and whether that's sustainability, health tech, you name it. I haven't found a group that's specifically focused on that, and I think it's for the next generation. It's for, well, our generation, for the future generation, for past generations. I think the world's changed so much that so many people are more focused on, look at Greta, like her focus on like the environment, that are so important, and we need to protect everything for our children and future children, and that comes in the form of Tech for Good.
Love that. I'm going to bottle up all your enthusiasm, Alicia, as always. And yeah, not to mention, amongst all those things that you said that you're involved with, is also Tech for Good Southwest itself, and really kind of volunteering your time as well to kind of help share the stories of amazing Tech for Good innovators, businesses, charity digital skills that we have, but also where the challenges are, and that's obviously what we're going to be doing together as well over the next year, which I'm really looking forward to. And thank you so much for sharing just a little bit of your journey. And I think we'll keep coming back to you to find out how some of these initiatives are going, and particularly Tech Volunteers. I think that's so exciting for our region, let alone more broadly the sector. So really grateful for your time sharing with us today. Have you got any sort of last call outs that you'd like to do to the Bristol Bath community particularly?
I think just say you're all amazing. I think, yeah, as a very proud Bristolian, always been within this industry and sector, so for the last 10 years, I'm just really proud of the community, the companies, the people that we've got here in the Southwest. And I'll forever say it, that I really think that if any city is going to be the most diverse, the most mission, the most impact led, it's going to be the Southwest, and predominantly Bristol being the hub of sort of the Southwest. So yeah, keep being great. Love you.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Advocate for all of that. Thank you very much, Alicia Teagle. And this is Annie Legg,
No, thank
Tech for
you.
Good Southwest. Thank you. See you next time.